Shalom, shalom. Call halal Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem Rakakodash. Them honest the apostles and the elders of the great millstone who were well. And salutation to the hopeful elect on the four corners of the earth, pushing the word and in the name and in truth and in sincerity. This is Rock from Great Millstone, Wisconsin. And, just wanted to go in on this disease X. We knew that that the elites were going to spark another disease outbreak. And now it's finally, I want to say finally coming to, or the information is finally coming to fruition. Didn't know what they were going to do, but, through the Spirit of the Lord, it's been released that they have attributed this new disease as disease X, And the thing is that, over in China, I read an article over there in China that they created another 19, another MERS or a SARS virus that has 100% kill rate in rats or mice that they've that they've injected human cells into. So I guess it's got 100% human cell mortality rate. I don't know how true that is. I'm gonna do some more research on that. But the thing is that this thing is coming to a head, because Esau still wants to get rid of, most of the population, pursuant to the Georgia Guidestones. Remember, he still wants to maintain the world under 500 million people, because I guess that's, not I guess, but that's his determined amount of people that, can be controlled, And that's what and as we know, that's all it's about with the so-called white man or Esau Edom, which is control, So let me get into this article here from the Sun. I'm not going to read the whole article. It's a little lengthy, but I'll hit certain points. This is from thesun.com. This says the terror of X. It says world leaders gather over chilling disease X threat amid fears hypothetical outbreak could kill 20 times more than COVID. Now they're calling this a hypothetical outbreak, but we've heard Bill Gates. We've heard, a lot of other people, especially on the World Economic Forum and from the World Health Organization, where most of this information comes from, said that they were gearing up for another pandemic, So it says world leaders gathered today to discuss a deadly and mysterious disease dubbed Disease X that could spark the next pandemic. Now, how do they know that there's a disease that's going to spark the next pandemic? If they weren't already creating this disease. Because usually if you get sick, or if, there's a sickness that spreads over the earth, you can't catch it before it happens. You can't catch it before it happens. It happens and then you respond to it, right? So they're saying that they're inadvertently saying that they already know that there's another disease that's coming, that's being engineered in the lab. It says the World Health Organization has warned the hypothetical pathogen could kill 20 times more than the COVID pandemic did. Now, how do they understand this? Now, this is one thing in the article that I thought was a little humorous. Now, this is a list of the world's biggest pandemic threats, and you have, Ebola in Marburg, Crimean Congo, hemorrhagic fever, Lassa fever, severe acute respiratory syndrome, which is SARS, which, the 19 is a mutation of SARS. It says Middle East respiratory syndrome coronavirus, MERS, COVID. So this is 3 strands of SARS here, It says Nipah, Rift Valley fever, Zika virus, disease X. That's number 10, right? It says disease X represents a hypothetical, currently unknown pathogen, which is a lie, which was added to the WHO's list of 9 priority diseases in 2018. Now, it's funny. It says it was added to the list of priority diseases in 2018, but this disease supposedly hasn't even happened yet, So how is an imaginary disease added to the priority list, Now, this is going to the Wikipedia really quick. It says Disease X. It says Disease X is a placeholder name that was adopted by the World Health Organization in February 2018 on their short list of blueprint priority diseases. It says blueprint priority disease. Now, a blueprint is a plan, of development, right? To represent a hypothetical unknown pathogen that could cause a future epidemic. Now, so this disease X, or this name that was adopted, this thing was patented in 2018, It says the WHO adopted the placeholder name to ensure that their planning was sufficiently flexible to adapt to an unknown pathogen. I bet, that response time going to be real quick, I bet. Broader vaccines and manufacturing facilities. Director of the U.S. National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, Anthony Fauci, again, stated that the concept of disease X would encourage WHO projects to focus their research efforts on entire classes of viruses, flaviviruses instead of just individual strains. An example, Zika virus. So why are they focusing on these viruses? I would understand they're focusing on how to cure these viruses, but you have a placeholder name for a so-called unknown disease, that Fauci stated would push people to encourage people to put their research efforts into whole classes of viruses, And all that what that sounds like to me is that, that research could possibly create a virus, which has happened already, which is happening in China, It says, thus improving WHO capability to respond to unforeseen strains. In 2020, experts, including some of the WHO's own expert advisors, speculate that COVID-19 caused by the SARS-CoV-2 virus strain met the requirements to be the first disease X. So they're called, really, disease X isn't even a disease. Disease X is just a name for a virus or multiple virus strains, So I will leave that at that. But going back to the article, it says disease X represents a hypothetical currently known unknown pathogen which was added to the WHO's list of 9 priority diseases in 2018. Disease X represents the knowledge that a serious international epidemic could be caused by a pathogen currently unknown to cause human disease. The WHO ranks disease X alongside COVID, Ebola, Zika virus, Crimean Congo hemorrhagic fever, Middle East respiratory syndrome, and severe acute respiratory syndrome. Talks took place at the World Economic Forum's Preparing for Disease X event in Davos, Switzerland on Wednesday. So they had a whole forum called Preparing for Disease X. Come on, man. What are they preparing for? They're preparing new regulations and new ways to lock down the world, new ways to control the world. See, and when you read further down in the article, it tells you that they learned a lot of things from the last pandemic. What did they learn? They learned response time. They learned how to lock people down. They learned how to control the masses and the information. That's what they've learned from this. It says a panel chaired by the WHO president, Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, looked into new efforts to prepare healthcare systems for the multiple challenges ahead. Experts do not know yet what virus will cause the next pandemic, but they have warned for decades that bird flu is the most likely candidate. And there was rumors floating around there too about the avian bird flu, being another mutation of the 19. It says, others have long theorized that disease X might be spread by zoonotic transmission, which occurs when an animal virus or bacteria jumps to humans. And going back to, China, they just created a virus that kills mice, that they're testing on animals. It says some have even warned that disease X may be caused by biological mutation, an accident, or a terrorist attack that takes the globe by surprise and spreads rapidly. Now, what this reminds me of is the global agenda for 2025, where they use things like they call them scenarios, right? They call them scenarios in which they will use to change the world one scenario at a time to shape the world that they want, which Lord willing, I'll do a lesson on that. But this is one of these scenarios, man. This disease X outbreak could be one of the scenarios that they want to use to shape the world and, in their image, so to speak. It says scientists said disease X is as infectious as measles with a fatality rate of Ebola, and that preparations had already started for an outbreak. The WHO feels it is more of a probability rather than a possibility that it will hit. Now, we know that Esau doesn't deal in probabilities, right? Or hypotheticals, He deals, possibilities are hypothetical, right? He deals in probability, meaning numbers. So Esau sat down and did the math and came up with surveys and statistics that said, okay, well, this disease has a 70% chance of crippling the world. They have a game. They have a game on mobile, which I actually play from time to time, called man, what is it called? Plague. It's called Plague. That was the mobile game that was banned during 2020. You know, so they have other alternative types of media that explains how they come up with these statistics on what these viruses can do and what they can't do and how to mutate them. It says, matter of fact, you brothers get the point. This article is a little bit more lengthy, but if you brothers want to read it, this is the URL here. It says thesun.com. You just type in Google thesun.com disease X. But moving on to the scriptures though, second Ezra, matter of fact, you know what? Jeremiah 30:7, because the thing is that there is a Jacob's trouble that's coming, man. And Apostle Hart did coin the spirit of this year, the year of Jacob's trouble, man. And this disease X, just like the 19, was a how do you say, was a direct attack on the Israelites, man. That's who they targeted for the vaccines. Oh, I haven't said that word. Oh well. But that's who they targeted. So this is Jeremiah 30:7. It says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble. So it's the time of Jacob's trouble, man. 2/3 of Jake is going to be caught up in this disease and multiple other incidents, man, or scenarios. It says, but he shall be saved out of it. And that he is talking about the elect, man. It's 2 Ezra chapter 8, verse 50. It says, for many great misery shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world. Right? So a misery is a bad time, man. It's gonna be anguish out here. People are gonna be languishing, because they have walked in great pride, because they are so arrogant and prideful against the Lord, man. Whether they know it, understand it, believe it or not, But these plagues and these scenarios that are to come down by way of the international governments, people are going to die. It says, but yep, it says, matter of fact, do I want to? No, that's it. Yep. It says, so dwell in the world because they have walked in great pride. It says, but understand thou for thyself and seek out the glory for such as be like thee. Seek out the glory of the Most High. Now, there is, I believe, because this was supposed to be another scripture here. Give me a quick second. Let's see here. I think, I can't really think of the scripture that I had, but I can think of another one that I would use here. In second Ezra chapter 15, verse 14. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. It says, or do I want to read this up? Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to read this up. Here we go. This is 2 Kings 15:1. I'll start at the top. Salakia. It says, Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord. And the prophecy is speaking, man. This is prophecy right now, speaking on the things that are to come, the calamities that are to come, man. And cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true, meaning that they will come to pass. Fear not the imaginations against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee, that speak against thee. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. And this is the point. And what are they going to die from? Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world. The sword, meaning war, famine, meaning lack of food, which we're already seeing, We're already seeing war. We're already seeing a lack of food, or a dearth, so to speak, All we're waiting for now is martial law. It says death and destruction, For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and the hurtful works are fulfilled, So it's time for this place to be destroyed. It's time for these plagues to come on the earth, man. It's time for Jake to be put to death, as assumed that Jeremiah 37 and, 1 Peter 4 and 7, 2 Peter 4 and 7, Slakia, 4 and 17. So it's meat for these things to happen, man, but we're not, but the men of the Lord aren't ignorant of what's to come. This 2 Corinthians 2 and 11 says, lest Satan should give an advantage of us, we are not ignorant of his devices. And devices means an evil thought, man, and this is an evil thought. This is not about health, and medical security. This isn't about keeping the world safe. This summit that they had at the World Economic Forum, this is about control, man. This is about putting a leash or a yoke on the necks of the people, man, This Revelation 12 and 12, it says, therefore rejoice ye heavens and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. And the thing about this is that you're going to start seeing this devil's horns more and more, man, with each passing day, those horns are growing out of this man's head, showing you who he is, man. And if 2020 was an indicator, this so-called, disease X, right? They're saying that, they're projecting this to be even worse than the 19, man, It says could kill 20 times more, So you thought 2020 was bad and 2021 was horrible, just wait till you get a load of 2025, That global governance, man. This is when supposedly when they're gonna put their plan into motion, and they're getting a running start at it, But all these things are for the Lord's purpose, man, And the Lord's purpose is for this place to be destroyed. So the Lord is dismantling this place by using whatever tool, that he will use, meaning Esau, Edom. Let me just go to this is Proverbs 16 and 4. It says, the Lord hath made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. So Esau is this tool, man, that he's using to put the world at its knees, man. Right before he rips the rug right off under him, presuming that Job, the 20th chapter. So with that, hope you brothers and sisters, you were edified in the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. I want to give all praises, call Allah Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rachakodash, double honor to the apostles and elders, great millstone and well, and salutations to the hopeful elect on the four corners of the earth, pushing the word and the name of the Lord in truth and sincerity. Shalom.